Hi, I'm Daniel Likis, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I've read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest, expert EFT Tapping Coach and founder of the Soar with Tapping app, no other than Miss Amy Vincze. Welcome, Miss Amy, on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me, by the way. I'm excited to be here. I am a tapping coach. I have been doing EFT tapping for 17 years, and I truly believe that it is the most powerful self-help healing tool that's available today. I've tried many other modalities, and I keep coming back to this one as definitely the source for most of my transformation.
And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Miss Amy, thank you for sharing tapping to the world. And today let's talk about unlocking emotional freedom, how EFT tapping can transform your life. So tell us, for someone has never heard of it, how would you describe EFT tapping in the most basic form?
Tapping is a really great combination of three different modalities. The first of which is energy therapy. It's very similar to acupuncture, but instead of using needles on the acupressure points, we actually use the percussion of tapping on our acupressure points. It also incorporates a cognitive therapy aspect because you are talking about what you want to release while you're tapping on your energy meridians. And then it incorporates a somatic therapy aspect because generally when we are in a stressed state, we are either worried about the past or worried about the future, and getting our energy and our focus into the present moment, grounded in our body, is one of the most important things that we can do to feel safe again. And so it does all three of those things at the same time. And what's happening on a scientific level is when we're stressed and the alarm center of our brain has been activated and it rushes our body with cortisol, the act of tapping on our energy meridians is consistently telling that stress center, the amygdala, to de-escalate. It's telling it to de-escalate over and over and over again every time we tap. And it is reducing cortisol, taking it away from our body 43% faster than if you had done nothing else. It will also lower heart rate and lower blood pressure. It'll increase our immune system response and increase happiness in a very short period of time.
The process combines stating problem while tapping on specific meridian points.
Mhm.
What is the science or theory behind this? How does a physical tapping help rewire the brain's response to emotional distress?
Okay, so when we are in a state of pain or stress or anxiety, anything along those lines, or if we're focusing on a fear or a limiting belief, there is a blockage in our energy system. When our energy is flowing freely, that's when we are in a state of healing or in a state of health. So when we are fearful, stressed, in pain of any kind, then there's a blockage in our energy system. And the percussion of tapping will help break up that blockage and allow the energy to flow freely again. Now, what's happening in our brains when that's happening is when we are getting electrical signals of pain or distress of any kind, and it's stopping at that stress center in our brain, then the electrical signals cannot get to our prefrontal cortex where we make logical sound decisions. So it stops at that alarm center, and the thoughts that we have can be rather irrational, not really based in reality. They're worried about what's happened in the past or the future. And so it takes de-escalating that amygdala and telling it to calm down, calm down. It's okay. Everything is fine in this moment. That allows us to bypass the amygdala and then get to that prefrontal cortex where we can go, actually, I am safe in this moment and I can move forward with this because what I'm worried about isn't really real. So there's a lot of things happening at the same time, but it basically is telling us and rewiring our brain to feel a sense of peace and calm about things that have normally triggered our alarm system.
Triggered. Oh my goodness. Automatic it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Trigger.
Yeah.
Many are skeptical of practices that seem too simple. What would you say to someone who finds it's hard to believe that tapping on their skin can elevate deep-seated anxiety or trauma?
Well, I would have to say that I was one of those people, absolutely, in the beginning. It didn't make sense to me that such a simple act could have such a profound impact. But there have been over 300 peer-reviewed studies done showing the efficacy and the efficiency of this tool. And from my own experience and from the experience of my clients, I can tell you hands down, this is a really, really powerful tool. And I just urge people to try it. There is absolutely no danger in doing this activity. And the upside is really huge. So if we can have the courage to suspend our judgment for just a moment and really lean into trying it as a potential, something that might fit with us potentially, then you might reap some really great rewards from that.
A great reward indeed. And you often hear that EFT claims or calms the brain sphere center. Can you walk us through what's happening in the nervous system during the typical tapping round, Miss
Absolutely.
Amy?
Yes. So when we basically our subconscious mind is constantly scanning the horizon for things that could be dangerous, and it's using our past experiences as a reference point to that. So anything that even resembles something that caused us pain in the past, if our subconscious mind sees that on the horizon, it then triggers our amygdala, that stress center in our brain, and rushes cortisol into our body, and it's basically signaling that there's danger. There's danger ahead. Something is not safe. There's a threat that we need to attend to. And so what the tapping does, by tapping on our energy meridians, it's constantly telling that amygdala to de-escalate. It's okay to feel safe and calm in this moment. In this moment, everything is actually fine. There is no immediate threat, and it's okay to let that guard down and kind of sink into a state of peace and calm again. And so, like I said, it is turning off that stress center in our brain and allowing logical, sound thought to get to that prefrontal cortex where we can look at a situation and see it for what it truly is instead of what our subconscious mind thinks might be dangerous about that moment. And it does that by scaling down that amygdala response and allowing us to get to our normal thought patterns.
Miss Amy, the scope of healing benefits for emotional and physical pain beyond anxiety. What are some of the more surprising emotional issues that EFT can effectively address, such as creative blocks, procrastination, or feeling of unworthiness?
I would not hesitate to use tapping on any of the things that you mentioned. I have experienced relief from physical pain, sometimes 100% gone. I have helped myself to fall asleep at night. I have basically rid myself of feelings of unworthiness and overwhelm, procrastination. I use it every time I feel like I want to procrastinate for whatever reason. I've used it in relationships where I felt really angry about something, but my constant thought is that I want to be kind, so I deal with my rage or my anger through tapping, and then I can come to the conversation or come to the table with somebody and be really peaceful about how I approach the conversation with them. So I wouldn't hesitate to use it on anything and everything, especially trauma. Trauma is usually the root cause of many of our issues, and applying tapping to the trauma itself and getting to that root cause is the thing that is going to really change people's behavior on a long-term basis. People typically tend to use tapping on symptoms mostly, like procrastination is a symptom, addiction is a symptom, even anxiety and depression are symptoms of deeper issues. And so I really like to apply tapping to the root cause, those deeper issues, because if you neutralize those things at the root, then it doesn't tend to continue to cause things like anxiety or depression moving forward. So my goal is always to get rid of things entirely. So you can use it on whatever symptoms you're experiencing, even fertility, pain, like anything that you can imagine, goal support. You can use it on those things. And then when you have time to focus on doing deeper issues, I would definitely spend the majority of your time there if you can, because that's what's going to get you the most bang for your buck.
Interesting, Miss Amy. So you mentioned it can help with physical pain. How can an emotional technique possibly elevate physical symptoms? Is it about managing the stress around the pain or something more direct?
I think it's both. I think that if we are in pain of any kind, and it's not healing, it's not progressing towards healing quickly, then there is some emotional element to it that has not been addressed. Because our bodies are designed to heal. They are miraculous machines. And when we can get that emotional aspect out of the way and allow our body to do its job of healing, then it will heal very, very quickly. I've experienced this myself. I used to have horrific back pain. I threw my back out all the time. And then when I discovered the root emotional cause of that back pain, I spent maybe 2 hours tapping through it, and I haven't had any back pain for over 7 years now. It's been a miraculous change for me. And like I said, 2 hours of tapping on the root cause, the root emotional cause of that back pain did the ticket. And that was the ticket for me. And I haven't suffered with it since.
Well, congratulations for that, Miss
Thank
Amy.
you.
Everybody have a back pain, but by doing these techniques. Thank you for sharing the tips. Can you walk us through a very simple mini tapping sequence someone could do right now if they were feeling suddenly stressed or overwhelmed?
Yes, absolutely. The first place to start is on your karate chop point right here, which is just the fleshy part of your hand right down from your pinky. So you tap on that spot and you're going to say 3, they're called even though statements or setup statements, where you say, even though I'm experiencing this anxiety, I love and honor all my thoughts and feelings about this. Even though I'm experiencing some anxiety, it's okay for me to feel safe and calm in this moment. So you go through that 3 times, and then you go through what's called repeater phrases, going through different tapping points, and I can go through them very quickly for you. The first is at the beginning of your eyebrow point, and then at the side of your eye, right at your temple,
Mm-hmm.
and then under your eye, right on your cheekbones, under your nose, under your mouth. The collarbone point, if you find the beginning of your collarbone, you're going to go down about an inch. There's a little valley in between your collarbone and your ribs. You want to tap on the spots on either side of your sternum. And then under your arms, about 4 inches down from your armpit. And then on your ribs, just below, maybe 2 inches below where your nipple would be. And then on your wrists, I tap my wrists together because there's 3 spots there. So I'm turning my wrists, trying to hit all 3 spots. And then the last one is up on top of your head. So when I'm going around on these different spots, I'm saying things like, I feel so anxious right now. I don't even know why. I just know that my heart is racing and my breath is shallow. And I feel there's a part of me that feels really unsafe. And I just want to honor that at the deepest level. And there's a part of me that has been triggered for whatever reason, or for a million reasons. And I deeply honor all my thoughts and feelings about this. And so you just keep going through the tapping points over and over again until you feel a shift in your body and you start to feel a little more calm. And if you're yawning, or if your eyes are watering, or something like that, that's kind of your nervous system giving you a big hug and saying thank you for helping me to relax a little bit. And so you start off, I forgot to mention that you start off usually by taking a rating 0 to 10, like how anxious am I feeling? So if you're 7, 8, 9, somewhere in that range, and then after you finish a tapping round, then you take another rating, because, it's really hard to quantify the emotional journey. So it's a very subjective number, but you can see if it went down or not, and then you just keep going. So if it went down to maybe a 5, then you're on the right track, and you just keep going through the tapping points again, honoring and acknowledging all your feelings. I think the biggest thing that people don't understand is that they need to honor and acknowledge all of the hard feelings, all of the uncomfortable feelings at first, because those are the feelings that are causing the anxiety. And honoring and acknowledging them allows us to move through them instead of just pretending that they don't exist and slapping on some happy, shiny feelings on top of that. So we need to give the challenging emotions and the hard feelings their day in court and give them a voice. And then when you've done that enough, that's when you can lower your number, your rating over and over again. And then when you get down to somewhere in the 3 or 4 range, that's when you can really start infusing positive statements in there, and your body and your mind will believe it on every level and allow you to let go and get you down to a 0.
Interesting, Miss Amy. Interesting indeed. So, as a tapping coach, a Soar with tapping app, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Let's see. My short-term goals are to grow the app and grow exposure to tapping by just teaching as many people as I can about this tool that everybody has access to. The app is there for people who need help, like I did in the beginning. I needed help figuring out what to say and where to tap, and it was all just a bit confusing and overwhelming for me, but I don't want that to be a barrier for people. So I've created over 160 different tapping scripts, whether you need help getting back to sleep at night, or whether you need help with pain in your lower back, or whether you need help letting go of a phobia of flying. Whatever it is, there is a tapping script on the app for you, and it will fill in all the blanks for you. And so you can just follow along and tap where I tap and say what I say.
Well, thank you for that, Miss Amy. We are so grateful for doing that to us, and good luck to your goals, and looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
I really just encourage people to lean in. I know that intuitively We try to run from pain and discomfort. And I have done that a lot in my life. And I just know that that has always led to more discomfort and pain. And it really was the act of kind of turning into the things that scared me and leaning into those things and really engaging with it that allowed me to move through them and come out on the other side feeling like I don't have to worry about those things anymore. They don't scare me like they used to. And because of the amount of work that I've done, I've got a really strong emotional muscle. And I look forward to engaging with those challenging moments because I know what kind of relief is on the other side. And I just encourage people to be really courageous and brave in your approach to doing this and to do it with compassion for that part of you that is really hurting.
Yes. And thank you for that advice, Miss Amy. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Yes, one of my favorites is by Anodea Judith, Eastern Body, Western Mind. And she goes into really in-depth detail about each of the energy centers, the chakras, and which gave me a really amazing understanding of the connection, the emotional connection between different areas of our bodies and the different emotions that we feel around them. And it was very enlightening for me. So I encourage anybody to just use it as a resource or to read it cover to cover. It's got a lot of great information in there.
Yes, and thank you for that recommended book, Miss Amy. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 third season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well, geography 101. Love Letters, Movie 101 Review, Music 101 are in fourth season, Science 101, Sex 101 in its second season, and My Baby Podcast, Law 101, Mental Health 101, and Bible Verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Amy, if someone is intrigued by the feel silly doing, what is your advice for overcoming that self consciousness and giving it an honest try?
Well, I can tell you, I felt silly at first too. If you feel silly, you're probably doing it right. And
Yes.
just if one of your friends or colleagues sees you, just tell them that you're rebooting your nervous system. But that is something that is preventing you from trying it, then I would make sure that you are in a safe and private space and engage with the app and just let it take you through a tapping script and see for yourself if you notice a difference or not.
Yes, definitely. So, Miss Amy, looking to the future, how do you see the role of somatic energy based techniques like AFT evolving in our broader understanding of mental and physical health?
Well, I think as a society, we're really coming to recognize that emotions are a huge part of our wellness practice, and it should be. And so I just foresee tapping becoming a really main tool in people's ability to heal themselves. And I want to be on the cutting edge of that. I want to be the one that's educating people about how to do it and when to do it, and be a great support system for that. I think it's going to be the wave of the future for sure.
The wave of the future, and thank you so much for empowering us through this tapping up, Miss Amy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Well, you can find me at soarwithtapping.com. You can go to the Google or Apple Play stores and just search for Soar with Tapping, and or any of the social media. I'm on all the different platforms.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Amy because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering tapping to rise. So, Miss Amy, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, people. See you soon.